So I've been asked to look at a website to review how it performs. I should add, before we really get into this, I don't know the owner of the website. I don't know anything about the business other than what I've already looked at on the website. So I have no connections to this already. So let's go in and have a look at the website, and we'll start from the top and work through it. So this is the website. It's a Carloway mill, working with Harris Tweed. Let's close that out and we'll start at the top. So first thing I notice, this does have a built-in shop, and if you have a shop, then you should probably using a secure website. So it's HTTPS. That's where you see the little green padlock at the side. As well as giving you a secure website, it also gives the user confidence in your website. And these days, within this Google algorithm, it also helps to give you a little bit of a step up when you're competing against other ranking websites. So that's something to consider straight away. The next thing we're going to talk about is the domain choice itself, so the Carloway mill, which is all very well if people are already knowing about the Carloway mill, but if they're just doing a general web search, they're probably not going to search for that. They might simply search for Harris Tweed. So if you had a domain of harristweed.com, then that would be a far better choice and allow you to rank for terms that people are actually searching for. If we look at the email address they're using, you can see it is actually harristweed.co.uk. That's immediately, in my eyes, a better choice. Ideally, though, using a .com would be even better. So that's something to consider. Is the domain being used the best choice for the typical search people are going to do when looking for the products that you sell? Moving on then, so at the very top here we have the phone number, which is fine. The next thing, we have an email address. If you advertise an email address in this fashion, then you are opening yourself up to a lot more spams, because all the horrible little bots that go around the internet trying to find email addresses to spam can pick up on this. The best option would be to have a contact form, so you don't actually reveal your email address to people. You just send them or point them to your contact form where you have a captcha built in, which prevents people spamming you. So we do have actually a contact page. So if we go to that, we can see we have a contact form, but it's rather redundant if you already have handed out the email address in the first place. So the point of the contact form is to stop getting spam, but if you hand out the email address, you make that redundant. So what I suggested is removing the email address from there, relying on the contact form, and maybe making it a little bit more pronounced on the website, so it's a bit more obvious what to do with it. Maybe going for a better captcha system, maybe one that uses reCAPTCHA by Google rather than this option here. Also, there's something very strange. If I hover over the submit form, you can see it's jumping all over the place. There's something majorly wrong there. Good. Okay, so that's enough said on that. Let's now go back to the homepage, where much of our focus will be. The next thing we will need to talk about is the logo and our top section here. If I right click and hit inspect, let's just come out of mobile use, we can see that this logo being used here is an image. As this is a very text heavy logo, then you should be using actual text. If you use an image such as this, and we can see this image is called logo 2, which means very little, it's not search friendly. So that Google really struggles to understand and be able to see what's within images. They are getting better with face recognition and stuff like that, but for the basic text like this, it shouldn't be in an image. It should be real text using proper HTML headings such as H1, H2, H3. At the moment, just having an image like this basically means you have no site title. So that means that probably the most important title to have for this website would be the Carloway mill, and currently we don't have that because this is an image, it's not real text. So that's a major blunder. blunder in my eyes. The Carloway Mill should be an H1 title, Harris Tweed should be an H2 title, and then this little tagline here should probably be an H3 title, in my view. And that way it'd be far more search friendly and probably scale better as well, because if we actually move this into a mobile size screen to simulate a mobile, notice now the logo is very small. It's so small that you can't actually read the text. So that's rather useless in my eyes. So there's something kind of wrong there. I should mention the website is mobile friendly to a point, but things such as the logo there aren't mobile friendly, or this tagline here, which we'll get to in a minute. Okay, let's come out of there. So that needs addressing, is how the logo is being used. The only element of that should be an image is this little bit at the very top, the Celtic design section. Everything else that is text should be real text, not an image. Okay, point made. We won't talk about the main menu too much, but it's generally best to try and keep the main menu as small as possible, otherwise people kind of lose focus on what they should be looking at. It's not overly bad, but we'll move on from that. Our next little piece of text here, which is actually real text for once, is an H2 title, which is okay. One thing to mention is, this is just kind of a pet hate for me really, is welcome to the Carloway Mill. Well, we're not at the Carloway Mill, we're at their website, so I'm not sure why we're being welcome to it. It's kind of an old-fashioned thing to do, is say welcome to. It doesn't really mean anything. These words aren't search-friendly, they have no relevance to the business. I would simply say the Carloway Mill and leave it at that. Or shop online at the Carloway Mill. Something that's relevant, that especially to the next button here, which is a shop online button. I would say simply maybe reference the shop within the title here. Okay, I won't mention the background image. It's not hugely clear in my eyes what it is at first glance. Maybe something a slightly higher resolution would be better, so we can really get some detail to it. I won't say any more there. Again, we've got this tagline here, which is again an image. If it's text, it should be text. It shouldn't be an image. I've already made that point, so I won't spend any more time on it. Then we've got the actual text of the website. I haven't read this, so I won't look into that. Structurally it seems okay though, it is properly paragraphed out and stuff like that. So the next thing we'll quickly talk about is images themselves. We have some images being used here in the home page. At first glance they're very low resolution, which means they're very grainy and aren't particularly clear to what they are, such as this one here. Well, what is that? It's hard to see. If you're going to use images, they should be high enough quality so people can actually see what the image is. Basic concept there. Let's inspect one of the images now randomly and see what's going on with it. So this one here. This image in particular is called Story -150 × 150. So the image name isn't really helping us very much explain what the image is. Images, just like text on a website, can be ranked within Google and the search engines. So if you want an image to rank well, you need to help Google understand what the image is about. If you have a photo of a frog, well, the image file name should be frog. Get the idea? So whatever the image is of, it should have a name appropriate to it. The other way to help Google understand what the image is about is by having an alt tag, which is a little sort of attribute associated to the image, which allows you to give a larger description of what the image is about, which again tells Google what this image is about. That's missing. We don't have an alt tag on these images. Okay, so there's work to be done on these images. They should be higher quality so we can actually see what they are properly. We should have them named properly. We should have alt tags. The effects that happen with them on screen here is really not relevant from a search engine optimization point of view. Okay, it's quite nice to look at, but it's not hugely helpful. Towards the foot of the website, well, we've got the standard features, nothing to really shout out about. One thing that I see that we have a translate option, which doesn't seem to be working. Having these built-in translate options is kind of redundant these days, as most modern browsers will detect what language your computer is using and will either translate automatically the content of the website for you or offer to translate it. Say if I were to visit a German website now, then I'll have the option probably to click translate and translate the website for me. So it doesn't really require to have a built-in tool to do this. Especially the more popular browsers such as Chrome or Edge by Microsoft are actually getting very good at translating normal text from language to language. It used to be pretty poor, but these days it's not bad at all. Okay, moving on. Let's just see what I've got to talk about. Let's now look at the shop. There's a few things to mention here, so let's just click shop online. Let's try that. And scroll down. My first thing I'm going to say is we have the different products kind of listed out here. I would thoroughly recommend having the images for each product the same size. Otherwise it looks rather untidy. Having one title slightly up a bit, slightly lower a bit, the same, small, big, it just looks rather untidy. Having them all the same size images will sort that out and look a lot sharper. Okay, let's click on a particular image now and have a look there. So one thing we're going to mention is some of the images don't have proper URLs. This one's not bad, double with Harris Tweed. Let's just come back out of here. I think I looked at a different image. Which one was it? I can't remember now. Let's just choose that one. There we go. This is the one I looked at prior to recording this video. We can see the URL is product 372. That's certainly not going to help from a search engine optimization point of view. Having a URL that matches the title would be far more powerful and allow this particular product to rank on your website. So if people search for this product, then just randomly in Google, then you might then rank this product and be found for that. Okay, so that was my point made there. Other things to mention is we have the add to basket. If I click on that, seems to be working now, but earlier when I hovered over that it seemed to jump around quite a lot, a little bit like I think it was our contact page earlier was doing that, wasn't it? The buttons seemed to be a little bit broken. It's fine now. Okay, we'll stick with the products for now. Let's go back to the shop. Anyway, there was earlier when I was looking at this, some of the buttons were jumping around randomly on the page. I'm not sure if it's a caching issue with the website or not, but it's something to maybe look at. Fine now, obviously, that we've recorded the video. One thing I have noticed though, let's just come out. We have our list of different categories here, and we have two uncategorized. If I click on them, they seem to be empty. So if you have empty categories called uncategorized, remove them. Don't create confusion for the user that way. If I continue through to checkout, I notice that you're using PayPal to process the payment. PayPal is fine, but they are quite expensive from a business point of view, and some people don't fully trust them. Maybe look around for some other gateway options. These days I really recommend Stripe to people. It's cheaper than PayPal and the software is better. I won't say any more there for now though. Okay, let's move on and talk about something else on the website. We'll go back to the home page. I have had a look at your latest news pages because that's quite relevant. So if I click latest news, I see that we're simply offering a sort of iframe with a feed to your Facebook page. That's not going to be very helpful, again, from that search engine optimization point of view. I thoroughly recommend you have a blog where you write regular updates to what your business has been up to, the latest product that you're launching, the last time you walk the dog. It really doesn't matter. By adding regular content to your website, it shows that your website is being maintained, it shows that you're getting new content, and then again, from that search engine optimization point of view, Google and the search engine see that your website is current and up to date and will keep you at the top of the rank. So I thoroughly recommend you have a blog where you write and add articles to your website, and then if you want to get them noticed, then you take the URL for those articles and you paste that into Facebook, where then you can share the content that you've added to your website around, and then if people want to read the content, then they need to come back to your website rather than just staying on your Facebook page. And if they come back to your website where you have your shop, the chances are your sales will go up also. So it works in various ways there. It helps your website rank by adding regular content, and it drives traffic back to your website where people then can generate sales. So I thoroughly recommend you remove that and actually add content to your website via a blog. After all, you're using WordPress, which was initially designed purely for blogging. Utilize that. Okay. Next thing we're going to talk about is some of the tools that you should be using to monitor your website and ensure it is found within the Google. If I click your website here and click View Page Source, I can look at the code of your website. And from what I can tell by scanning over the code of your website, you're not actually using Google Analytics or any tool to monitor the usage of your website. As a business owner, it's very important that you know who's visiting your website, where they came from, and how they found your website. Especially if you're paying for advertising on other websites or magazines or whatever it might be, you want to know what the return is. If you don't know what the return is, you're just throwing money out there when it comes to advertising. Good. The other thing I can tell, if you're not using Google Analytics, the chances are you're also not using Webmaster Tools, which is now called Search Console within Google. This is a free tool within Google which allows you to upload a sitemap of your website. And then every time you make a change to your website, Google automatically know about it. They don't have to randomly scan your website. They automatically know about it and will... that'll help you have your website rank better. If Google know that you've changed something in your website or added a new article or added a new blog, then they will be able to know about it and rank it accordingly. Okay, I think that's everything I want to say. This video is probably a lot longer than I planned. Hopefully people find this helpful. All right, I'll stop talking. Cheers for now.